Hello everyone, welcome to the most systematic way of learning physics. Here we use graphics, animations and real life examples to make you understand difficult concepts in easier way, that too in shortest possible time. If you want these PPTs or notes, you can contact us on these given details. In this session we will learn about circular motion. Here we can see different types of circular motions. In first example, football is rotating without change in speed, or speed for the football doesn't change. So this is said to be a uniform circular motion. In second example, we can see the speed for the fan is gradually increasing. This happens when somebody switches on fan. This kind of circular motion is said to be uniformly accelerated circular motion. And third example also indicates the circular motion but in an oscillatory manner, where watch pendulum performs the partial circular motion in to and fro manner. This kind of circular motion is an oscillating circular motion. We will study this kind of circular motion later. In this video, we are going to learn only about uniform circular motion or uniformly accelerated circular motion. In an ideal frictionless system, we can have a circular motion which will go on continuously. For example, if the friction is zero, this football will keep on rotating continuously for infinite time. Similarly, geosynchronous satellites also keep on rotating without consuming energy at a specific height from the Earth. These are the two examples of uniform circular motion. But if somebody is interested to increase the speed of this football, in that case one will have to apply the force to increase the speed. Here we can say that tangential acceleration is required to increase the angular speed. It can be imparted by continuous kicks to the ball. In case of rockets, firepower is used to increase the speed of the satellite. In case of uniformly accelerated circular motion, you should remember that the tangential acceleration is provided so that speed of the object will be increased. In these two different cases, you should remember that if the uniform circular motion is there, then tangential acceleration is not required or the angular acceleration is not required. And if the speed is increasing, then tangential acceleration should be there, and that can be imparted by applying the force. As we have seen in linear motion, we can have analogous quantities in circular motion also. In linear motion, we have seen linear displacement. Here we will see the angular displacement. In case of linear motion, displacement was measured in meters. In case of circular motion, displacement will be measured in terms of radian or degree. So that is the measure for angle. In case of linear motion, the definition for the uniform linear motion was displacement divided by time. In case of circular motion, the uniform angular velocity will be equal to theta by t, that is the angular displacement divided by time. Try to observe the similarity here. Here we, in case of linear motion, linear displacement was used. In case of angular motion, angular displacement will be used. In the same fashion, in case of linear acceleration, it was the change in velocity divided by time. In case of angular acceleration, it will be angular velocity divided by time. Here you can observe the similarity. Here linear velocity was used, here angular velocity will be used. As we have seen equations of motion for linear motion, we can have similar equations in circular motion also. Only thing is that linear quantities will be replaced by angular quantities. Here you can observe v1 is the linear velocity and omega 1 is the angular velocity. Here omega 0 is the initial angular velocity, here v0 is the initial linear velocity. Here this is the linear acceleration, here this is the angular acceleration. In the same fashion, x is the linear displacement whereas theta is the angular displacement. Here formulae are quite similar. As you know, all these three linear quantities are vectorial quantities. In the same fashion, these circular quantities are also vector quantities. So let us see directional properties for physical quantities in circular motion. First physical quantity in circular motion is the angular displacement. In this case, you can see the directions for angular displacement are different in all the different cases. To find out the direction for angular displacement, right hand rule is used. In this, one can curl the fingers of the right hand in the direction of the circular motion. Then outward thumb shows the direction of angular displacement. For example, here you can see this is the right hand and these curled fingers are indicating the direction for circular motion. So this outward thumb will indicate the direction for angular displacement. So angular displacement is always in the direction of axis of the rotation. In second example also, this is again the right hand and the curl fingers are indicating direction for this satellite. So this way the direction for this satellite is the downward direction. Here again if you can imagine that the direction is towards the right side. You should imagine right hand in this plane and your curl fingers should indicate the direction for circular motion. Then the outward thumb will indicate the direction for angular displacement. In case of circular motion, second quantity is the angular velocity and the direction for angular velocity is same as that of the angular displacement. So again you will use the right hand to find out the direction for angular velocity. In this case, direction for circular motion is anti-clockwise. In this case, the direction for angular velocity is perpendicular to the display and coming out of the display towards the observer. For angular acceleration, here you can see there are two different cases. One is angular acceleration. In this case, this car is accelerating or the speed for the car is increasing, but in this case speed for the car is decreasing or the braking is applied for this case. In both these cases, the direction for angular acceleration is opposite. For angular acceleration, the direction will be same as that of the angular displacement, but in case of angular deceleration or braking, direction will be opposite of the direction of angular velocity. Here you can see motions are clockwise. In this case, the direction for angular velocity is perpendicular to the display going out away from the observer. That is indicated by using a cross. In this case, braking is there and the direction will be opposite of the acceleration. So in this case, the direction is perpendicular to the display coming out of the display towards the observer. You can see that there will be a tangential acceleration. The engine force will be used to direct this car in this tangential direction, but the steering force will be used to steer the car or to rotate the car. So tangential force will be applied by using the engine of the car. In the second example, you can see that brakes are also applied normally and the braking force is always in the direction of the tangent but in the opposite direction. So clearly observe the acceleration force is in the direction of the motion but braking force is in the opposite direction of the motion. So this is the direction for tangential acceleration, and this is this particular cross and dot is used for indicating the directions for angular quantities. Here you can see again, in case of acceleration, the tangential velocity component goes on increasing because velocity goes on increasing, but in case of braking, the tangential velocity goes on decreasing because velocity goes on decreasing. Here you can see velocity is in the opposite direction of the acceleration. That is why the velocity keeps on reducing, but in this case the direction for velocity and acceleration is same. That is why velocity keeps on increasing. So this way you should remember all the different directions for different quantities. In case of uniform circular motion, this change in direction is achieved by tension in the string, and this tension force continuously helps to change the direction of the football. The acceleration which is associated with the tension in the string is known as centripetal acceleration, and it is always towards the center. So in case of uniform circular motion, there is always an acceleration to change the direction, and that is known as centripetal acceleration. Let us summarize this particular thing. Here you can see different types of motions. First is linear motion, second is uniform circular motion, and third is accelerated circular motion. In case of uniform circular motion, there will be always centripetal acceleration because this satellite needs force to change the direction, and that force is provided by gravitational acceleration here. So even in case of uniform circular motion, the centripetal acceleration is always there, and that can be calculated by using v square by r, or equal to r omega square. At every position, the momentary direction for the velocity of the satellite is the tangential direction, and that is tangential velocity can be calculated by using this formula, that is r omega. So in uniform circular motion, there are only these three quantities, that is angular velocity, tangential velocity, and centripetal acceleration. But in case of accelerated circular motion, the tangential force is used to increase the speed of the satellite or rocket. Here combustion or exhaust is used to increase the speed, and that gives the tangential force. So tangential velocity in this case is also same, that is r omega. It depends on the omega. Here omega is not constant, it will change at different positions. The angular acceleration can be calculated by using change in angular velocity divided by time. And tangential acceleration formula is equal to r alpha. Again, in this accelerated circular motion, centripetal acceleration is there, but that is not constant. It will keep on changing because tangential velocity or angular velocity is continuously changing. So centripetal acceleration at a specific point can be calculated by using the same formula, that is v square by r or r omega square. So derivations for these formulae are also important. Those will be uploaded in different videos. But to solve the numericals, one should remember all these formulae. Now let us find out equation for position vector in circular motion. Assume that this particle is in circular motion and the current position is indicated by coordinates x and y. So in this triangle, we can write cos theta will be equal to x by r, adjacent side divided by hypotenuse, that is x by r. So x coordinate becomes r cos theta. In the same fashion, sin theta is equal to y by r, that is front side divided by hypotenuse. So y will be equal to r sin theta. As you know, the position vector is indicated by using xi plus yj. Now we will replace these two values in this equation, and it becomes r equal to r cos theta I plus r sin theta j. So if you find this kind of equation, you can directly say that it is in circular motion. These are the points you should remember about circular motions. First is angular displacement, second is angular velocity, third is angular acceleration, and equations of motions for accelerated circular motion. In case of circular motion, every object has momentary tangential velocity, and that is calculated by using this formula, that is r omega. Next is tangential acceleration, that is calculated by using r alpha. Also remember that centripetal acceleration is always there, which is required to change the direction of the object so that it will keep rotating. Now one more point you should remember is the position vector for circular motion is r cos theta I plus r sin theta j. If you use this formula, you can write about theta, that is theta will be equal to omega t. So by using this formula, we can replace this. So it becomes r cos omega t I plus r sin omega t j. So this is another form of the same equation, and it also indicates the circular motion. You should remember all these formulae. Along with this, directional properties are important. In this problem, it is given that a particle moves so that its position vector is given by vector r equal to cos omega t x plus sin omega t y. So this is the same form as we have seen for position vector. Just by looking at this equation, one should understand that this is the equation for circular motion. Next, it is given that where omega is constant, that means it is a clear case of uniform circular motion. For uniform circular motion, which of the following is true? So out of these four options, which one is true, we need to find out. In option A, it is given that velocity is perpendicular to vector r. So this is true, and acceleration is directed towards the origin. In case of uniform circular motion, acceleration is always directed towards the origin. So both the sentences are true in case of option A. So this must be correct. If you look into the option B, it is given that velocity is perpendicular to r and acceleration is directed away from the origin. So this is not correct. Velocity and acceleration both are perpendicular to r. So this is also not correct. In case of circular motion, acceleration is towards the center. That is why the direction for the object keeps on changing. Velocity and acceleration both are parallel to r. So this is also not true. Option D says that velocity and acceleration both are parallel to r. So in this case, velocity and acceleration both are in the same direction, and in this case, object will move away from the center. So that is not the case. The object is moving in the circular direction. So B, C, D, all these three options are not true, and only option A is true. That is why option A is correct answer. In this problem, it is given that a particle moves in xy plane according to rule x equal to a sin omega t and y equal to a cos omega t. The particle follows. Obviously, x and y coordinates are given in terms of a sin omega t and a cos omega t. This resembles our equation of position vector. Correct answer should be a circular path, not elliptical, not parabolic, or not straight line also. So option B is correct. But to prove this, we can use these two equations, that is x equal to a sin omega t and second equation is y equal to a cos omega t. If you square these two equations and add, you will get x square plus y square equal to a square, and sin square omega t plus cos square omega t becomes 1. Here this particular equation is the equation for circle. That is why we can say that the object is traveling along the circular path. So option B is correct. Next problem is a particle moves in circle of radius 5 cm. So given data is the particle is rotating along a circle and radius is equal to 5 cm. This can be written in meters equal to 0.05 meters with constant speed. This is a case of uniform circular motion, and time period is 0.2 pi seconds. So next thing which is given is the time period. Time period is nothing but the time required to complete one circle, and that is equal to 0.2 pi seconds. So time period equal to 0.2 pi seconds is given. The acceleration of the particle is, so in uniform circular motion, as we know, the acceleration is required to change the direction, and that is always towards the center, and that is known as centripetal acceleration. We need to find out the centripetal acceleration. For that we need to find out the angular velocity, where theta for one revolution will be equal to 2 pi and time period for one revolution is given. That means we can use this formula to find out omega by using theta by t. So theta for one revolution is given and time for one revolution is given, that is 2 pi by 0.2 pi, and this omega will be equal to 10 radian per second. We will use this formula, that is centripetal acceleration will be equal to r omega square. So r is 0.05 multiplied by 10 into 10. If you solve this, you will get 5 meter per second square, and option C is correct. Next problem, a stone tied to the end of the string of 1 meter long is whirled in horizontal circle with constant speed. So radius is given and constant speed, that is uniform circular motion is given. If the stone makes 22 revolutions in 44 seconds, so total theta is also given, time for that theta is also given. What is the magnitude and direction of the acceleration of the stone? In case of uniform circular motion, you know that direction for acceleration is always towards the center. Only we need to find out the magnitude for the acceleration, that is r omega square. Here radius is 1 meters, and to find out omega we can write theta by t. So it becomes 1 into theta by t multiplied by theta by t. So theta for 22 revolutions will be equal to 2 pi into 22, because for one revolution theta is 2 pi. For 22 revolutions theta will be equal to 2 pi into 22, and time is also given, that is 44 seconds. If you use these two values in this equation, you will get 22 into 2 pi divided by 44. So 44 will get cancelled and only pi remains. So pi multiplied by pi becomes pi square. In three different options pi square is given. Only you need to think about the direction. For uniform circular motion, direction is always towards the center. So radius, direction along the radius towards the center is the correct option. Option A is correct. Next problem, a particle moves along a circle of radius 20 by pi meters with a constant tangential acceleration. That means this is the case of tangential acceleration and the radius is given. So r equal to 20 by pi meters, that is radius. In next statement it is given that if the velocity of the particle is 80 meter per second at the end of the second revolution after motion has begun. So velocity at the end of the second revolution is 80 meter per second. In circular motion we have the formula v2 equal to r omega 2. So we can find out omega 2 now. So to find out omega 2 we will use v2 by r, where v2 is 80 meter per second and r is 20 by pi. So if you calculate this you will get 4 pi. It is also given that after motion has begun, that means at the start point omega will be 0, that is angular velocity will be 0. We need to find out tangential acceleration. For 2 revolutions total displacement will be equal to 2 into 2 pi. To find out tangential acceleration we can use the equation of motion. Because we know initial angular velocity, final angular velocity and displacement, we can use the equation of motion for accelerated circular motion. Here it is omega 2 square equal to omega 1 square plus 2 alpha theta. This equation is quite similar to the second equation of accelerated linear motion. So to find out tangential acceleration we will put all these values in this equation. Here omega 2 is 4 pi So 4 pi square omega 1 is 0. So this term becomes 0 is equal to 2 alpha into 2 pi. So if you calculate this, you will get alpha equal to 2 pi. So this is the angular acceleration that we have calculated. We need to find out tangential acceleration, that is equal to r into alpha. Now we have calculated alpha value and r value is already given. So we will use two different values in this equation. You will get 20 by pi into 2 pi. So pi will get cancelled and it becomes 40 meter per second square. So total tangential acceleration is 40 meter per second square. So correct option is A. Next problem, the position vector of a particle vector r as a function of time is given by vector r equal to 4 sin 2 pi t I plus 4 cos 2 pi t j. So this is the form of the position vector for circular motion. So this is a clear case of uniform circular motion where r is in meters, t is in seconds, and I and j denote unit vectors along x and y directions respectively. Which one of the following statement is wrong for the motion of a particle? So you need to find out the wrong statement. In option A it is given that magnitude of the velocity of the particle is 8 meter per second. You need to verify this particular magnitude. Without calculating, we can directly find out r omega. If you compare this particular equation with this, you can find out that omega equal to 2 pi. In this equation, omega is 2 pi and r is 4. Linear velocity formula v equal to r omega. Here r is 4, omega is 2 pi. If you multiply these two, you will get the magnitude for velocity. So it is equal to 8 pi, not only 8. So this option A itself is wrong. And we need to find out which one of the following statement is wrong. So option A is the correct answer because it is wrong. The magnitude of the velocity is 4 into 2 pi, that is 8 pi. All these three remaining options are correct. You can verify it. So option A is correct option.